Among the most common limitations of natural science research are technical and financial boundaries, both of which have been constantly pushed in history. Technical boundaries are related to the inability to conduct precise measurements. These boundaries have always been researched for guide themselves and were pushed through the invention of the telescope, the microscope, the Geiger counter, and many other measurement instruments. Financial boundaries play a role in most research projects but can become especially severe when expensive equipment has to be employed. Examples include experiments for which space shuttles have to be launched or infrastructure such as the CERN laboratories required. Studies in social sciences are often limited by various factors, including the need to base findings on interpretations, the complexity of a field in which single variables cannot be controlled far easily, as well as ethical issues and financial problems, since the subject of a study are social actions which are often motivated by a myriad of factors that may be unknown even to the active social scientists who want to make a meaning of their observations will have to interpret their data in order to analyze it. Ethical issues arise many times from the fact that some very interesting questions may not be studied without sacrificing the mental or physical safety of people. Examples when such boundaries have been crossed include not only extreme situations in which subjects were left uninformed may still have suffered from its consequences many years later or even have died during the study. Summary: among the many branches of science, the natural and the social sciences stand out as two branches with disciplines that have some similarities but differ strongly above all in what they aim to investigate. Studies of the natural sciences began during the 16th and 17th century, whereas the social sciences emerged some 300 years later. Commonalities include a number of methods such as experiments and observations, where quantitative method can be applied for analysis. However, being concerned with the underlying meaning of social interactions, the social sciences rely not only on what might be called exact mathematical methods but also on a number of qualitative approaches such as interviews and ethnographies. Both branches of science have limitations that can be similar in nature. While the natural sciences often face technical boundaries, the social sciences experience difficulties as they study situations in which environments cannot be controlled easily, which often renders experimental settings impossible and leaves scientists relying on interpretations. Additionally, ethical issues play a much larger role in the social sciences. Social sciences are considered as compulsory subjects in our school curriculum like other teaching disciplines, that is mathematics, EVS, sciences, languages, etc. But the approach of inclusion of social sciences in school curriculum differs functionally from one stage of school curriculum to another stage of school curriculum. Social sciences curriculum include three broad composite instructional areas, that is history, geography, and social and political life. Social and political life draws its contents mainly from three disciplines, that is political science, economics, and sociology. Economics. It is the social science that deals with the ways in which men and society seek to satisfy their material needs and desires. Alfred Marshall has defined economics as the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. Adam Smith defines it as the science of wealth. There are many fields of applied economics along with the special subfields of economics theory and economic history. The main area is money, banking and business, public finance, international economics, labor and industrial relations, land and agricultural economics, business organization, public utilities and transportation. Economics is becoming increasingly professional and specialized. Economics could attain much more important position in social science. Economics is a social science that seeks to analyze and describe the production, distribution, and consumption of wealth. History. History is the study of the human past. Scholars who write about history are called historians. It is a field of research which issues a narrative to examine and analyze the sequence of events, and it sometimes attempts to investigate objectively the patterns of cause and effect that determine events. Historians debate the nature of history. This included discussing the study of the discipline as an end in itself and as way of providing perspective on the problems of the present. The stories common to a particular culture but not supported by external sources are usually classified as cultural heritage rather than the disinterested investigation needed by the discipline of history. Events of the past prior to written record are considered prehistoric. Political science. Political science is a social science concerned with the theory and practice of politics and the description and analysis of political systems and political behavior. Political scientists see themselves engaged in revealing the relationships underlying political events and conditions, and from these revelations, they attempt to construct general principles about the way the world of politics work. Political science intersects with other fields, including public policy, national politics, international relations, comparative politics, and political theory. Sociology. Sociology is the study of society. It is a social science term with which it is sometimes synonymous that uses various methods of empirical investigation and critical analysis to develop and refine a body of knowledge about human social activity. After, with the goal of applying such knowledge to the pursuit of social welfare, subject matter ranges from the micro level of agency and interaction to the macro level of systems and social structure. Statistics. Statistics as a discipline in the development and application of methods to collect, analyze, and interpret data. A modern statistical method involves the design and analysis of experiments and surveys, the quantification of biological, social, and analysis scientific phenomenon, and the application of statistical principles to understand more about the world around us. Since data are used in more areas of human endeavor, the theory and methods of modern statistics have been applied to a wide variety of fields. Some areas that use modern statistical methods are the medical, biological and social science, economics and finance, marketing research, manufacturing and management, government, research institute, and many more. Exciting new areas are opening up due to development in areas such as biotechnology, survey research, and computing. Public administration. It is a field of inquiry with a diverse scope, of which the fundamental goal is to advance management and policy so that government can function. Some of the various definitions which have been offered for the term are the management of public programs and the study of government decision making, the analysis of the policies themselves, the various inputs that have produced them, and the inputs necessary to produce alternative policies. Anthropology. Anthropology is the holistic science of man. The discipline deals with the integration of different aspects of social sciences, humanities, and human biology. If the 20th century academic disciplines have often been institutionally divided into three broad domains, the natural and biological sciences seek to derive general laws through reproducible and verifiable experiments. The humanities generally study local traditions through their history, literature, music, and art, while an emphasis on understanding particular individuals, events, or eras. The social sciences have generally attempted to develop scientific methods to understand social phenomena is in a generalizable way, though usually with methods distinct from those of the natural sciences. Law. Law is a system of rules usually enforced through a set of institutions. Laws can shape or reflect politics, economics, and society in numerous ways and serves as a primary social mediator of relations between people. Education. Education encompasses teaching and learning specific skills, the imparting of knowledge, positive judgment, and well developed wisdom. Education has as one of its fundamental aspects the imparting of culture from generation to generation. Educate means to draw out from the or to facilitate the realization of an individual's potential and talents. It is an application of pedagogy, a body of theoretical and applied research relating to teaching and learning, and draws on many disciplines such as psychology, philosophy, computer science, linguistics, neuroscience, sociology, and anthropology. Behavioral sciences. Behavioral sciences is a branch of the sciences which is concerned with the study of human and animal behavior. Behavioral sciences looks at individuals and their behavior along with the behavior of societies, groups and cultures and processes which can contribute to specific behaviors. There is a great deal of overlap between this field and the social sciences. Now next one is geography. Geography is the study of the earth and its land features, inhabitants, and phenomena. A literal translation would be to describe or write about the earth. The first person to use the word geography was Eratosthenes. Four historical traditions in geographical research are the spatial analysis of natural and human phenomena, study of man-land relationship, and research in earth sciences. Nonetheless, modern geography is an all-encompassing discipline that foremost seeks to understand the earth and all of its human and natural complexities, not merely where objects are but how they have changed and come to be. Geography has been called the world discipline. Now that's all for today. Thank you. Good morning, all of you. I am Niharika. Today I am going to conduct in-house training on the topic Methods and Strategies of Teaching Social Science. Methods and strategies of teaching social science. A teacher has to make use of various kinds of methods, devices, and techniques of teaching. A teacher has to make use of a suitable method for making his teaching meaningful, purposeful, interesting, and effective. A good method of teaching can bring out good results even from a weak student. On the other hand, a bad method of teaching can make a mess of a good curriculum. Therefore, it can rightly be said that success or failure of teaching depends on its methods. The methods of teaching should be according to the needs and interest of learners. Now we will talk about characteristics of a good teaching method. It should provide a group of related experiences and activities arranged on an individual as well as group basis. It should give scope for the creative expression of the child's individuality. It should rouse a large range of interest in the minds of the students. It should shift emphasis for verbalism and memorization of learning through purposeful, concrete, and realistic situations. It should train the students in the techniques of self-study and the methods of acquiring knowledge through personal effort or intuition. It should stimulate the desire for further study and explorations. It should awaken an interest in the materials and techniques used by social scientists. Now we will go on factors which determine the selection of a teaching method. There are mainly 5 factors. Number 1, the nature of the child. Number 2, the objectives of instruction. Number 3, the nature of the subject matter. Number 4, classroom environment. Number 5, expertise of the teacher who adopts a method. Now, different methods of teaching social science. As we know that there are so many methods of teaching a single subject. As we are talking about social science, so we will go first on the lecture method. Simply means teaching through lecture. Teacher explains the matter in simple and understandable manner. The method is particularly used in the secondary classes and above. This method can be used to motivate students to clarify, to review, and to expand contents. Lecture method is for imparting authentic, systematic, and effective information about some events and trends. It gives the students training in listening. It develops good audience habits. It provides opportunities of correlating event and subjects. It enables the linkage of previous knowledge with the new one. Merits. A well prepared and a well delivered lecture can make social studies interesting. Lecture gives the teacher an opportunity to come into immediate contact with the pupils. Lecture gives the pupils training in listening and taking rapid notes. Lecture saves time and energy. Good lectures stimulate brighter students. It facilitates rapport between the teacher and the taught. It is more useful for brilliant students. It helps the implementation of others. Now, what are the demerits? It makes students inactive. There is a very little scope for pupil activity. May include irrelevant material, discourage self-effort by the students. Every teacher is not expert enough to deliver lecture. The pupil lose opportunity to make self-study. Lecture can soon result in monotony. Lecturing is against the principle of learning by doing. And average students may not be able to fix up their attention to a lecture of 40 to 45 minutes. Now, number 2 is problem solving method. How we think reflects this approach. In this method, the learner is required to solve a problem, making use of his previous knowledge. According to Dewey, the problem fixes the end of thought and the end controls the process of thinking. Now, criteria for problem selection. The problem should be intellectually challenging to children. The problem should not be entirely unfamiliar to the learners. It should be related to their previous experience. The problem should be related to a basic human activity. The problem should have practical relevance. The problem should have the potential to create interest among in the specific problem in particular and problem solving in general. Now, its merits. It serves as a preparation for adult life. It develops a power for critical thinking. It makes people active recipient of knowledge. It develops values of tolerance and open-mindedness. It helps for the easy assimilation of knowledge. It helps to establish harmonious relations between teacher and pupils. Demerits: this method will become monotonous if used too frequently. The problem-solving method can easily lead to the selection of trivial and untimely topics. This is appropriate for developing cognitive competencies, but not for bringing about effective changes. Now, third method is project method. Project method is based upon the ideas of the great American educationist Mr. John Dewey. The credit of developing these ideas into a method goes to Mr. William Kilpatrick. According to him, a project is a wholehearted, purposeful activity proceeding in a social environment. According to Stevenson, a project is a problematic act carried to completion in its natural setting. According to Dewey, children should be given education to satisfy their needs of life, and the school should function like a mini society in which and through the students would acquire education by engaging themselves in a variety of group projects. Nothing is forced upon children. The teacher acts only as a guide. Now we will talk about steps used in project method. First one is providing a situation. Number 2, choosing the project. Number 3, planning the project. Number 4, executing the project. Number 5, evaluation of the project. Now, merits. It gives freedom to children. It enables the children to learn from their own experience. It is free from the defects of the textbook method. It is a natural method of acquiring knowledge. It gives training in social adjustment. It gives training in democratic way of living. It trains the children in solving problems. It helps the children to understand his pupils. Demerits. It hampers the completion of syllabus. There is a possibility of giving more importance to less importance. It may lead to unsystematic learning. It may lead to monopolization of by some students. It may disturb the school working system. It increases workload of teachers. It is an expensive method. Now number D is source method. Source method is that method of teaching in which original sources of information are used to explain a point or variety of fact or establish a principle or describe an event. This method involves activity on the parts of the teachers as well as pupils. Source method can be used in the beginning of the lesson to motivate the pupils. While teaching the topic Mughal Empire, he may show them the pictures of Red Fort, Taj Mahal or Jama Masjid. This method can be used during the course of lesson to develop it and correlate the facts, events or principles involved in the lesson. Now this method has also merits and demerits. First we will talk about the merits of this method. After that we will talk about the demerits of this method. Now merits. It develops a sense of vividness and reality. It can satisfy the curiosity among children on the question. The original sources serve as an effective means for creating a right type of atmosphere. The use of sources provides certain useful mental exercises. The method initiates the pupils in research. It supplements classroom lesson. It promotes the interest in the study of the subject. It initiates the students in social studies research. Demerits. The method is too complex and technical. It is not always possible for the teacher of a school to have easy access to the sources. Use of sources is not easy for the teachers and they are not trained in their use. The source method of teaching social science is time consuming. The source method of teaching social studies is very expensive. Supervised study method. Arthur C. Binning and David H. Binning described that by supervised study, we mean the supervision by the teacher of a group or class of pupils as they work at their desk or around their tables. Teacher is always ready to direct and aid them. Supervised study emphasis individual attention. Supervised study emphasis individual attention. Provide better pupil-teacher relation development of skills. Now main developed skills are skill as to how to read social studies material, skill as to how to use encyclopedias, skill as to how to use dictionaries, skill as to how to use maps, atlases, indexes and almanacs, skill as to how to read graphs. Now limitations. Destroys the supremacy of teachers as they play a secondary role in the teaching learning process. It is a costly method. Bright people is not helped under this method and in some cases is even hindered by the method. It requires the lengthened school day which is not possible due to various pressures of co-curricular activities. Now next method is dramatization method. Dramatization has been described as a synthetic art involving the purposive coordination and control of the delicate organs of speech and muscles of the body combined with a sense of rhythm with a view to free and intelligent expression of emotions and ideas. Drama has its great social value. It is a cooperative enterprise and develops the qualities of cooperation and social understanding. There are many activities in a drama and as such students of diverse aptitudes get chance to choose items for which they are best suited and satisfy their urges, that is, self-expression through the various activities of a drama. Now selection of play. Plays chosen should depict the evils of the social customs. A play should have a literary value also. The student should be able to understand and appreciate the play. Plays chosen should depict the evils of the social customs. A play should have a literary value also. The student should be able to understand and appreciate the play. It should also have entertainment value. It should be free from objectionable subject matter. There should be no vulgarity in the play. Now, debate. Debate is a program in which two or more students holding contradictory opinions on a particular problem present arguments. They are also given an opportunity to rebut the opposite side. After this, the rest of the class is encouraged to ask questions from the debaters or engage in a brief discussion with them. A debate has a moderator in order to get significant results. The teacher should work with both with the debaters and the class. Now, merits. It helps in clarifying issues. It develops team spirit. It provides opportunities to the students to speak distinctly. It endangers toleration of views which are at variance. Now, demerits. Not suitable for all topics. It may create emotional tensions. It may lead to unpleasant feelings. It is likely to be dominated by a few students. It is likely to go off the track. Now, role play. Role playing can be defined as an attempt to make a situation clear or to solve a problem by uncharged dramatization. Role playing is the dramatization of an event or a situation or a process. Role playing is dealing with problem through actions. A role is a patterned sequence of filling. Purpose of role playing: to motivate or launch units, to culminate units, to teach values, to teach content having to do with human relationship, to develop citizenship skill by showing both the successful and unsuccessful methods. Conducting role playing: preparing for role playing, selecting the players, preparing the audience, preparing the players. Now, playing of the roles: keep the role playing short, let the pupils play it out, do not evaluate the acting language, do not allow evidence to interrupt. Now, following up the enactment. Discussion, reenactment. Advantages: develop deep understanding, developing problem solving skill and attitudes, explore subject matter in varied ways, develop interpersonal communication. Disadvantages: pupils who are not well prepared for role playing may not take it seriously. Role playing will not work unless the atmosphere in the classroom is supportive. Pupils find it difficult to enter the roles properly, especially if they are not well briefed on the assignments. Role playing does not always take the direction one hopes. Role playing is time consuming. For role playing to work well, one needs a group of sensitive, imaginative, open minded pupils who know each other well enough to be at case with each other. Now, cooperative learning is an approach to organize classroom activities into academic and social learning experiences. It differs from group work and it has been described as structuring positive interdependence. Cooperative learning involves structuring classes around small groups that work together in such a way that each group member's success is dependent on the group's success. Why use cooperative learning? Students who engage in cooperative learning learn significantly more, remember it longer, and develop better critical thinking skills than their counterparts in traditional lecture classes. Students enjoy cooperative learning more than traditional lecture classes, so they are more likely to attend classes and finish the course. Cooperative learning helps students develop the skills necessary to work on projects too difficult and complex for any one person to do in a reasonable amount of time. Cooperative learning processes prepare students to assess outcomes linked to accreditation. Now we will talk about cooperative learning. It is a method of instruction that has students working together in groups. usually with the goal of completing a specific task. This method can help students develop leadership skills and the ability to work with others as a team. However, gifted students are often placed in groups with non gifted children, sometimes with the goal of having the gifted student help the others either directly or by example. In these instances, the gifted student is not likely to learn anything new, while the non gifted students are not likely to develop any leadership skills. Collaborative learning. Collaborative learning is a situation in which two or more people learn or attempt to learn something together. Unlike individual learning, people engaged in collaborative learning capitalize on one another's resources and skills, asking one another for information, evaluating one another's ideas, monitoring one another's work, etc. More specifically, collaborative learning is based on the model that knowledge can be created within a population where members actively interact by sharing experiences and take on asymmetry roles. The multimedia approach. Multimedia refers to content that uses a combination of different content forms. This contrasts with media that use only rudimentary computer display, such as text only or traditional forms of printed or hand produced material. Now, what is its importance? Multimedia includes a combination of text, audio, still images, animation, video, or interactivity content forms. Multimedia approach uses a number of media devices and techniques in the teaching learning process. Multimedia approaches can convey vast information and provide many sources from which a student can access the information. Multimedia approach will improve the teaching learning process. Multimedia approach is not restricted to a single type of learning style. It can provide the support of a wide range of activities. Multimedia approach aims at providing meaningful learning experience via a mix of media in order to achieve predetermined objectives. Multimedia approach provides the opportunity to gain mastery of competencies and skills. Information and communications technology enabled learning. ICT is often used as an extended synonym for information technology but is a more specific term that stresses the role of unified communications and the integration of telecommunications, computers, as well as necessary enterprise software, middleware, storage, and audiovisual systems, which enable users to access, store, transmit, and manipulate information. The role of ICT in education is to empower the technology into present educational activities. ICT allows open source learning rather than manual source, hence encouraging students to learn new ideas. ICT also brings about active learning, collaboration, creative, integrative, and evaluative aspects to the education sector. Now, definition. Information communication technology is a generic name used to describe a range of technologies for gathering, storing, retrieving, processing, analyzing, and transmitting information. General benefits. Greater efficiency throughout the school. Communication channels are increased through email, discussion groups, and chat rooms. Regular use of ICT across different curriculum subjects can have a beneficial motivational influence on students' learning. Now, benefits for teachers. ICT facilitates sharing of resources, expertise, and advice. Greater flexibility in when and where tasks are carried out. Gains in ICT literacy skills, confidence, and enthusiasm. Easier planning and preparation of lessons and designing materials. Access to up to date people and school data anytime and anywhere. Enhancement of professional image projected to colleagues. Students are generally more on task and express more positive feelings when they are computers than when they are given out other tasks to do. Computer use during lessons motivated students to continue use learning outside school hours. The benefits for students. higher quality lessons through greater collaboration between teachers in planning and preparing resources, improved pastoral care and behavior management through better tracking of students, gains in understanding and analytical skills, including improvement in reading comprehension, encouragement of independent and active learning and self responsibility for learning, flexibility of anytime, anywhere access, increased self confidence and self esteem. Students found learning in a technology enhanced setting more stimulating and student centered than in a traditional classroom. Opportunities to address their work to an external audience, opportunities to collaborate on assignments with people outside or inside school. The use of ICTs help improve the quality of education. ICTs can enhance the quality of education in several ways by increasing learner motivation and engagement, by facilitating the acquisition of basic skills, and by enhancing teacher training. ICTs are also transformational tools which, when used appropriately, can promote the shift to a learner centered environment, motivating to learn. ICTs such as videos, television, and multimedia computer software that combine text, sound, and colorful moving images can be used to provide challenging and authentic content that will engage the student in the learning process. Interactive radio likewise makes use of sound effects, songs, dramatizations, comic skits, and other performance conventions to compel the students to listen and become involved in the lessons being delivered. Facilitating the acquisition of basic skills. The transmission of basic skills and concepts that are the foundation of higher order thinking skills and creativity can be facilitated by ICTs through drill and practice. Enhancing teacher training. ICTs have also been used to improve access to and the quality of teacher training. Now, disadvantages of ICT. One of the major barriers for the cause of ICT not reaching its full potential in the foundation stage is teachers' attitude. According to Hara, within the early years, education attitude towards ICT can vary considerably. Some see it as a potential tool to aid learning, whereas others seem to disagree with the use of technology in early year settings. Batchford with Whitebread suggests that the use of ICT in the foundation stage is unhealthy and hinders learning. Other early years educators who are opposed to offering ICT experiences within the educational setting take a less extreme view than this and suggest that ICT is fine, but there are other more vital experiences that young children will benefit from. In theory, some people may have the opinion that the teachers who had not experienced ICT throughout their learning tend to have a negative attitude towards it, as they may lack the training in that area of the curriculum. Another important drawback to use ICT in the school is the fact that computers are expensive. According to the IT Learning Exchange, in most schools, ICT will be the single largest curriculum budget cost. This may be seen as a good thing, but on the other hand, there will be little money left over for the significant cost. Teaching is a complex craft. In some ways, it is impossible to capture the sophistication of what good teachers do. Yet nothing is more fundamental to achieving the goal of success for every student than high quality teaching. This can be achieved through various strategies that make teaching learning effective and fruitful. According to the Harry Wong, an educator, author, and one of the most sought after speaker in education, in an effective classroom, students should not only know what they are doing, but they should also know why and how. The effective teachers at MRIS Charmwood strive to motivate and engage all their students in learning rather than simply accepting that some students cannot be engaged and are destined to do poorly. They believe that every student is capable of achieving success at school and they do all they can to find ways to making each student successful. Effective teachers have high expectations from students in terms of both their standard of learning and their behavior, and they help their students meet those expectations. Group project is one of the strategies used by the social science teachers at MRIS Charmwood to bring out the best in learners and to maximize their learning. Group projects can help students develop a host of skills that are increasingly important in the professional world. These projects help to reinforce skills that are relevant to both group and individual work, including the ability to break complex tasks into parts and steps, plan and manage time better, and more lucid understanding through discussion and explanation, develop stronger communication skills, and so on. Group projects can also help individual students develop skill specific to collaborate skills sets such as tackling complex problems, delegating roles and responsibilities, thus developing leadership qualities, share diverse perspectives, pool knowledge and skills, develop new approaches to resolving differences, establish a shared identity with other group members, and develop their own voice and perspectives in relation to peers. This strategy is very effective as it often helps to address more complex and authentic problems by groups of students than they could do individually. This also makes teaching learning more stimulating and unpredictable, since groups may approach tasks and solve problems in novel and interesting ways. This strategy surely breaks the monotony set by the old school lecture method of teaching. Generally, social science is meant to define either sociology or synthetic social theory only. Everywhere, the implied analogy to the natural sciences has been contested. In 1982, the British government challenged the name of the publicly financed Social Science Research Council, arguing inter alia that social studies would be more appropriate description for discipline of scholarship which cannot justly claim to be scientific. Social science can be defined as a study of men living in society. It was said that man is a political animal. This observation was broadened into the view that he is a social animal. While social sciences evolved during the 18th century as a formal field of study and became a part of university or higher education curriculum, social studies evolved during the 20th century in order to be included in the school or junior school curriculum. The evolution and growth of social sciences are the byproduct of modernization, industrialization, renaissance, urbanization, growth of science, and many more related developments. There were many changes in human lives and living which were hardly seen before. During the 18th century and afterwards, the whole world took a radical turn since the 18th century. Renaissance in Italy and other European countries, French Revolution of 1789, Industrial Revolutions starting from 1767, American War of Independence of 1776, development of new forms of capitalism, immense development in natural of sciences, etc., brought both happiness and difficulties for human society in the world. For example, on the positive side, there was commercial development, development of transport and communication, multiplication of comforts, improvement of education and health conditions, development of economic condition, etc. And on the negative side, there was development of complexity in social life, political chaos, social disorganization and unrest, intellectual crisis, development of unhealthy competition among people, etc. In order to counter all these problems and challenges, social sciences originated and became the part of education learning system. Social sciences originated in the 18th century is an effort to understand the character and future of modern society. Observing the difference between modern society and its feudal and ancient forms, these social scientists envisioned social sciences that would guide modern society into the future. Due to increasing industrialization, modernization, scientific development, etc., many new social problems were arising and affecting the whole social system and paralyzing it. While rapid growth of industrialization and modernization led to multitude social problems including diseases, social alienation, workers' exploitation, etc. Modern science created germ warfare, atoms for destruction of humanity, many hazardous chemical and nuclear reaction, etc. Two wars, that is World War I and World War II, in the 20th century brought indefinable misery for mankind. In addition to these two wars, there were numerous wars which were fought in many parts of the world which were really bad for humanity. The misuse of science, urbanization, industrialization, etc., has really become a threat to humanity in this world. The experience of severe economic depression from 1930 to 1940 created the feeling of insecurity, fear, suspicion, and distrust among the people of the world. The rapid growth of science and technology in the last 100 years has created many new social problems, though it has many positive effects too. Social sciences emerged to prevent and check the evil effects of science and modernization, etc., on the one hand, and to guide the modern society for better future on the other hand. Nowadays, philosophers, statesmen, scientists, politicians, and intelligentsia have realized that social sciences are no way inferior to other sciences, including physical sciences or biological sciences. The general sciences have proved that it is capable of organizing the forces of the atom to cause the destruction of the entire humanity from the world by a single explosion. There is a need of studying social sciences to obstruct destruction of human society by such forces. Since social sciences have great relevance for modern day society, so they form an important component or part of modern day education and curriculum system. Social sciences have become the part of university and higher education system across the world starting from the 18th century. Realizing the importance of social sciences for developing healthy social and democratic citizenship qualities of individuals, they have been included in the social curriculum of most of the countries of the world, especially from the 20th century, either in the name of social sciences or in the name of social sciences. In the forthcoming sections of the unit, you will learn in detail about how social sciences constitute component of a school and higher education curriculum. Conceptually, social sciences and social studies are related with each other as well as different from each other in many aspects. Let us examine the conceptual relationships and differences found between them. Concept of social sciences. Social sciences are the body of knowledge which is concerned with human affairs in the spectrum of broad socio-cultural system. Social sciences constitute understanding social science as a discipline and forms an important component of high school and higher education curriculum. The different social science subjects like history, political science, anthropology, philosophy, economies, etc., have independent status in high school as well as university education. The following definitions of Charles Beard and James High may add same clarifications to the concept of social sciences. The following points may characterize the nature of social sciences. Number one is direct bearing on human activity. Social sciences are those aspects of knowledge which have direct bearing on man's activities in direct socio-cultural fields. Second one is advanced studies of human society. Social sciences are advanced level studies of human society and they are generally taught at higher education level. Find out truths about human relationships. Social sciences seek to find out truths about human relationships which ultimately contribute to the social utility and advancement of knowledge. Now, concept of social studies. Social sciences are a term that refers to a wide range of academic disciplines related to human interaction. Among the common social science disciplines are history, psychology, sociology, economics, political science, and sometimes philosophy and religion. At the core of these subjects is the issue of human relationships and human interactions. That is why these are called social sciences. These are the sciences of human activity. History is probably the most popular of the social sciences, and as a result, sometimes people use the term social science to refer exclusively to history. Technically, however, this is probably not the most accurate use of the term. The concept of social studies is of recent origin. Social studies originated and developed in order to be considered as the part of a school curriculum. The widespread use of social studies started in America since 1916. Its use in India can be traced back to the formulation of Gandhiji's basic education in 1937. Social studies in a single and composite instructional area which draws its content from many social sciences like history, geography, political science, economics, etc. Social studies doesn't combine social science subjects in unrelated way, rather it meaningfully integrates them for the purpose of helping the learners understand women's or men's relationship with the society and environment in which she or he lives. Developing the competences relating to healthy social living is the main aim of social studies learning. Social studies is concerned with the practical aspects of for the society. The social studies are the school mirror of the scholarly findings of the social sciences. Such data as social scientists may gather is integrated and simplified to appropriate levels of expression for children in all the grades. The social studies are concerned with man and his interaction with his social and physical environment. They deal with human relationships. The central function of the social studies is identical with the central purpose of education, development of democratic citizenship. According to Michaelis, try to define the term social studies in two different ways as follows. The social studies defined as the study of man and his program is interaction with his social and physical environment in the past, present, and emerging future. The social studies program includes those aspects of human relationship and social values, conditions, and changes that are believed to be of greatest importance for the general education of the students. As per National Council for the Social Studies USA 1992, social studies is the integrated study of the social sciences and humanities to promote civic competence. Distinctive characteristics of social sciences. The study of man as a unique living creature may be viewed in two fundamental dimensions: man as an individual being, man as a social being. Thus, the focus of the social sciences is on the study of the following: change in human relationship and reinterpretation between the present and the past event, human activities and spatial distributions and interaction of culture, biologic and physical elements, basic social systems, institutions and processes, relationship between individual and institutions and among political, economic and social institutions, the nature of societies and authors and the interactions of people with each other and also their social and physical environment. The real nature of this discipline can be well understood by analyzing the above definitions. a unique combination of various disciplines, a study of human relationships, a study of man's development through ages, a realistic course of study. It forms an important part of the core curriculum. It includes commitment to action, aims at preparing the learner for wholesome social living. Distinction between natural and social sciences. There are a number of similarities between the natural and social sciences, which include the use of similar methods and partially overlapping epistemological and ontological stances. That is, stances regarding the creation of knowledge and the nature of reality. However, there are also a number of elements that distinguish the two, such as their different origins, subjects of study, and limitations. Following definitions of natural and social sciences, their elements will be contrasted in the following definition. Ledoux defines natural sciences as disciplines that deal only with natural events, using scientific methods, while the employment of scientific methods is generally regarded as typical but not exclusive of natural sciences. It is the focus on natural events that distinguishes natural from social science. The disciplines of social sciences are viewed as those that deal with human society, societal groups, individuals in their relationships with others or institutions of societies, and material goods as expression of human cohabitation. This definition shows the difficulty of grasping all aspects of social sciences as opposed to natural sciences, which have a common perspective rather than a common subject of study. The distinction between social and cultural sciences and humanities is controversial. The origin. According to Buchel, the birth of natural science is marked by changing worldviews introduced by Renaissance thinkers who questioned earlier explanations about the world and turned to more systematic methods of investigation. Early leaders of this scientific revolution included Copernicus and Galileo, who were concerned with problems from disciplines including astronomy and physics, among others. Natural sciences arose from curiosity about the world as well as the endeavor to transform nature in favor of human necessities of life, both of which had not been possible to pursue freely in the era of slavery of the ancient society. The social sciences are much younger than the natural sciences, even though the social interactions in a society have probably been of interest for many centuries. Scientific studies of social interactions began as late as the 19th century with sociological publications including Suicide by Emile Durkheim and Système de politique positive by Auguste Comte, the latter of which also set stone for a positivist approach to social sciences. Now, subject of study. The aim of the natural sciences is to discover the laws that rule the world. The focus lies hereby on the natural and not on the social world, although the differentiation is not always simple. There are historically three core areas of the natural sciences: chemistry, biology, and physics. Nevertheless, this is not a final list of research areas since many other disciplines were later born out of this. As more knowledge is created, more specific questions arise. This leads to the fact that early natural scientists were generalists from today's perspective and later specialized in newly emerging disciplines such as astronomy in the beginning, different engineering disciplines later, and rather recently created fields such as robotics or bionics. In contrast to the natural sciences, the study objects of social sciences can take notice of the forecast of scientists. Subject of study are the phenomena of social interaction and coexistence. Social sciences can rather be classified by their common perspective than through a specific subject of study. This perspective consists of the understanding and studying of a social aspect of society, a group of people, or a single individual. Now, methods. Natural science methods are possibly the most popular methods of scientific investigation. The New American Oxford Dictionary even defines scientific methods in general as methods characterizing natural science since the 17th century, consisting in systematic observation, measurement, and experiment. While there are other methods used by other sciences, these are without doubt the most important methods used in the natural sciences. Compared to the social sciences, the natural sciences rely more on mathematically based methods. The reason for this is the more uniform nature of natural sciences and the accountability that enables the scientists to apply mathematics. While physics or chemistry rely to a large extent on controlled experimental settings, such settings cannot be created so easily for most investigations in economics or sociology. One of the mainly used methods is the observation. As a social science counterpart of the natural sciences experiment, it is much more difficult to carry out an experiment in social than in natural sciences. The reason therefore lies in the uncontrollability of social environments. Because of that, the measurability of the highly complex social processes is often difficult or sometimes not possible at all. Nevertheless, experiments are used in, for example, in the behavioral economies and social psychology. Even though not with the overwhelming success of the natural sciences experiments, other important methods in social sciences are interviews, surveys, case studies. Now, next one is philosophical stances. With thinkers including Karl Popper and Thomas Kuhn, fundamental criticism of natural science approaches has emerged during the 20th century. Before Popper, the way in which knowledge is created was not questioned by most scientists, most of whom adopted an inductive epistemology, in which a finding is regarded as general truth when a sufficient number of experiments have led to the same outcome. Criticizing this, Popper put forward that a theory cannot be confirmed by induction but only falsified by a simple observation. For instance, a scientist observing the color of swans on a lake who has seen a number of only white swans cannot conclude that all swans are white. Rather, his theory must be tried to falsify through the search of a black swan. Lateral criticism by Kuhn addressed the values or paradigms which exist when scientific investigations are carried out, and which are usually accepted without any reflection by scientists. A paradigm consists of a set of fundamental theoretical assumptions and a set of particular scientific problems that have been solved by means of these theoretical assumptions. Kuhn stresses that normal scientists are not trying to test the paradigm, but rather question their experimental technique when a conflicting result appears. The discovery of knowledge is therefore restricted to situations in which enough scientists become convinced that a paradigm may be wrong, which leads to paradigm shift, that is, the establishment of a new paradigm. While there are also critics of Kuhn arguing that two paradigms may not necessarily be completely incompatible. The impact of Kuhn's ideas has also been felt by other academic disciplines such as sociology and anthropology, and in the general intellectual culture at large. In contrast to the natural sciences, there was much more debate about the question of what is acceptable knowledge among social scientists. Therefore, number epistemological stances exist, which shall only be introduced very briefly here. Among the first popular instances in the social sciences is the positivist position, which had been advocated by early social scientists like Compete, who argued that studies of social reality should apply the same methods as the natural sciences. Sorry. Among the most common limitations of natural science research are technical and financial boundaries, both of which have been constantly pushed in history. Technical boundaries are related to the inability to conduct precise measurements. These boundaries have always been researched for themselves and were pushed through the invention of the telescope, the microscope, the geyser counter, and many other measurement instruments. Financial boundaries play a role in most research projects but can become especially severe when expensive equipment has to be employed. Examples include experiments for which space shuttles have to be launched or infrastructure such as the CERN laboratories required. Studies in social sciences are often limited by various factors, including the need to base findings on interpretations, the complexity of a field in which single variables cannot be controlled far easily, as well as ethical issues and financial problems, since the subject of study are social actions which are often motivated by a myriad of factors that may be unknown even to the active social scientists who want to make a meaning of their observations will have to interpret their data in order to analyze it. Ethical issues arise many times from the fact that some very interesting questions may not be studied without sacrificing the mental or physical safety of people. Examples when such boundaries have been crossed include not only extreme situations in which subjects were left uninformed may still have suffered from its consequences many years later or even have died during the study. Summary: among the many branches of science, the natural and the social sciences stand out as two branches with disciplines that have some similarities but differ strongly above all in what they aim to investigate. Studies of the natural sciences began during the 16th and 17th century, whereas the social sciences emerged some 300 years later. Commonalities include a number of methods such as experiments and observations, where quantitative method can be applied for analysis. However, being concerned with the underlying meaning of social interactions, the social sciences rely not only on what might be called exact mathematical methods but also on a number of qualitative approaches such as interviews and ethnographies. Both branches of science have limitations that can be similar in nature. While the natural sciences often face technical boundaries, the social sciences experience difficulties as they study situations in which environments cannot be controlled easily, which often renders experimental settings impossible and leaves scientists relying on interpretations. Additionally, ethical issues play a much larger role in the social sciences. Social sciences are considered as compulsory subjects in our school curriculum like other teaching disciplines, that is mathematics, EVS, sciences, languages, etc. But the approach of inclusion of social sciences in school curriculum differs functionally from one stage of school curriculum to another stage of school curriculum. Social sciences curriculum include three broad composite instructional areas, that is history, geography, and social and political life. Social and political life draws its contents mainly from three disciplines, that is political science, economics, and sociology. Economics. It is the social science that deals with the ways in which men and societies seek to satisfy their material needs and desires. Alfred Marshall has defined economics as the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. Adam Smith defines it as the science of wealth. There are many fields of applied economics along with the special subfields of economics, theory, and economic history. The main area is money, banking and business, public finance, international economics, labor and industrial relations, land and agricultural economics, business organization, public utilities, and transportation. Economics is becoming increasingly professional and specialized. Economics could attain much more important position in social science. Economics is a social science that seeks to analyze and describe the production, distribution, and consumption of wealth. History. History is the study of the human past. Scholars who write about history are called historians. It is a field of research which issues a narrative to examine and analyze the sequence of events, and it sometimes attempts to investigate objectively the patterns of cause and effect that determine events. Historians debate the nature of history. This included discussing the study of the discipline as an end in itself and as way of providing perspective on the problems of the present. The stories common to a particular culture but not supported by external sources are usually classified as cultural heritage rather than the disinterested investigation needed by the discipline of history. Events of the past prior to written record are considered prehistoric. Political science. Political science is a social science concerned with the theory and practice of politics and the description and analysis of political systems and political behavior. Political scientists see themselves engaged in revealing the relationships underlying political events and conditions, and from these revelations, they attempt to construct general principles about the way the world of politics work. Political science intersects with other fields, including public policy, national politics, international relations, comparative politics, and political theory. Sociology. Sociology is the study of society. It is a social science term with which it is sometimes synonymous that uses various methods of empirical investigation and critical analysis to develop and refine a body of knowledge about human social activity. After, with the goal of applying such knowledge to the pursuit of social welfare, subject matter ranges from the micro level of agency and interaction to the macro level of systems and social structure. Statistics. Statistics as a discipline in the development and application of methods to collect, analyze, and interpret data. A modern statistical method involves the design and analysis of experiments and surveys, the quantification of biological, social, and analysis scientific phenomenon, and the application of statistical principles to understand more about the world around us. Since data are used in more areas of human endeavor, the theory and methods of modern statistics have been applied to a wide variety of fields. Some areas that use modern statistical methods are the medical, biological and social science, economics and finance, marketing research, manufacturing and management, government, research institute, and many more. Exciting new areas are opening up due to development in areas such as biotechnology, survey research, and computing. Public administration. It is a field of inquiry with a diverse scope, of which the fundamental goal is to advance management and policy so that government can function. Some of the various definitions which have been offered for the term are the management of public programs and the study of government decision making, the analysis of the policies themselves, the various inputs that have produced them, and the inputs necessary to produce alternative policies. Anthropology. Anthropology is the holistic science of man. The discipline deals with the integration of different aspects of social sciences, humanities, and human biology. If the 20th century academic disciplines have often been institutionally divided into three broad domains. The natural and biological sciences seek to derive general laws through reproducible and verifiable experiments. The humanities generally study local traditions through their history, literature, music, and art, while an emphasis on understanding particular individuals, events, or eras. The social sciences have generally attempted to develop scientific methods to understand social phenomena is in a generalizable way, though usually with methods distinct from those of the natural sciences. Law. Law is a system of rules usually enforced through a set of institutions. Laws can shape or reflect politics, economics, and society in numerous ways and serves as a primary social mediator of relations between people. Education. Education encompasses teaching and learning specific skills, the imparting of knowledge, positive judgment, and well developed wisdom. Education has as one of its fundamental aspects the imparting of culture from generation to generation. Educate means to draw out from the or to facilitate the realization of an individual's potential and talents. It is an application of pedagogy, a body of theoretical and applied research relating to teaching and learning, and draws on many disciplines such as psychology, philosophy, computer science, linguistics, neuroscience, sociology, and anthropology. Behavioral sciences. Behavioral sciences is a branch of the sciences which is concerned with the study of human and animal behavior. Behavioral sciences looks at individuals and their behavior along with the behavior of societies, groups and cultures and processes which can contribute to specific behaviors. There is a great deal of overlap between this field and the social sciences. Now next one is geography. Geography is the study of the earth and its land features, inhabitants, and phenomena. A literal translation would be to describe or write about the earth. The first person to use the word geography was Eratosthenes. Four historical traditions in geographical research are the spatial analysis of natural and human phenomena, study of man land relationship, and research in earth sciences. Nonetheless, modern geography is an all encompassing discipline that foremost seeks to understand the earth and all of its human and natural complexities, not merely where objects are, but how they have changed and come to be. Geography has been called the world discipline. Now that's all for today. Thank you.